All right, guys, welcome back to Global League Review. Here we have the 1200 match, and this time both players are actually 1200, as opposed to having been 1200 before when I recorded this, and now they are higher usually. So yeah, Mawis is currently 1227, and Lost and Found is 1196. Okay, so they actually dropped just a little bit recently. So both Mawas and Lost and Found, like talk a lot in the Discord, I think, about strategy and stuff. So it'll be interesting to sort of see how they do here. So this map I have played recently, actually in the Coal Mirror. I think it was versus Sotha, or Soth, I guess. Um, and that was a pretty exciting game. Lots of like kind of feinting with like trying to figure out where the big army is, and then like baiting with a medium-sized army with like a bigger army behind it, and then cleaning up afterwards. So yeah, it's cool to see coal dittos like like on any map. Coal is one of the one of the least used COs historically, I think, and seeing him shine on maps like this really makes me happy. So yeah, this map in particular, it's what is it called? 1v1 Marengo. Okay, it's one of the WYJ maps. Let me just make sure that didn't mess up the did. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, that's good enough. All right, so yeah, one of the WYJ maps. One of the less. Um, it's like a little bit It's not quite as easy to tell this is a WYJ map as opposed to others. WYJ is a map maker. Has been in the community for a very long time and like a very respected fog player. Um, so with this map in particular, I think the roads stick out, which make people pick coal. There's just a lot of roads on average compared to other types of terrain types. Um, I guess the comm towers stick out as being a little bit contested, and they can be. The edges are pretty easily defendable if you can like wedge some artillery and stuff back in there. It's easy to like get an army on the edge and then kind of sweep in. I mean, the sweeping in part can be hard, but it's not so hard to wedge an army back here. Although, of course, it doesn't come with a lot of center control. Yeah, three bases. Airport comes kind of early. So yeah, let's kind of see what they do here. There's a lot of APC opening ideas here, so we'll see what they end up doing with when it comes to APCs, or maybe T-copters. I don't know. I haven't really seen a T-copter opening here before, or maybe I've tried one. I can't remember. Whoa! What is this? Okay, we're just gonna be a little more. I have an option here I can do. Okay, so far the opening looks pretty much as you'd expect. The one thing is that Mawis decided to, with his first infantry, go all the way right, and then instead of capturing this property immediately, going for this one at first. So it kind of makes me think that Mawis won't go for an APC immediately, although they have the money for it. Oh, okay, never mind. There's the APC. All right, and then the APC goes it's set up in a way that it can carry this infantry immediately. um, and then there's like some nice boosts it can do along the way. So And Lost and Found has the money to do immediate APC as well. Okay, and he does, so both doing slightly different openings, both with the same APC timings, more or less. Okay, interesting. Didn't pick up this infantry. Unless this infantry is supposed to go onto the mountain and capture north, and then up here. That's actually a really nice chain. Okay, so both openings look to have merit for sure. Looks like Lost and Found can do 1, 2, 3 turns to this property or this property, or go back with this APC. Or I guess it could boost it if you wanted to move this guy into the forest immediately, something like that. So yeah, there's definitely like fairly big tree of options you can go for. And actually, Maoist goes pretty aggressive, skips this city that's right in its way, and then goes forward to this city. Maoist 2 going like a pretty early recon right after the APC. It'll be interesting to see how if Lost and Found has a response to the recon. Because this is just about as early as if you go for ultra early recon, sometimes you can find um, opportunities to harass safely if assuming your opponent doesn't go for like kind of wonky builds. Okay, so Lost and Found also goes for a recon out of the space. Um, I mean, it's nice to get vision over here, so that you can know how heavy your opponent goes into vehicles. Sort of like figuring out where your opponent's vehicles are is a pretty nice. It's a really nice piece of intel you can get. It kind of lets you know how aggressive you can get while capturing. Okay, and this is the first time I've seen the APC go up this way. So far the APC has been in charge of like I think one city acceleration, and then it looks like probably the tower acceleration, which I'm not too certain about. Like typically when you do the APC strat like Lost and Found is doing down here, you can boost like 3 property captures, sometimes 4 or more. Like it just feels like there's a lot of money you can gain by going for APC boosts like this. Okay, and Mawa's actually going T-Copter too. So now, vehicle wise, it's APC Recon T-Copter. So there's no tanks on the board. Um, just seems really like really greedy is the term people would use in like StarCraft and stuff like that. It's just like kind of it's risky play that if your opponent doesn't punish it, you end up with a nice financial reward. Although it kind of makes me wonder if both T-Copter and APC are like overkill because you might not be able to get back um, in funds the cost that you put into them. Ah. So Lost and Found, on the other hand, uh, so looks like tank out of this 2 base side. that's like it feels like a nice thing to do. There's so much like vehicles get to this part of the map pretty quickly. Um, and backing up a tank with a tank means that you can kind of be aggressive with your first tank, since if a counter hit tank comes in to strike it, then you have an immediate counter to that. So yeah, so Lost and Found looks like all he needs to do is kind of scout out that there's a both an APC and a T-copter, and then his tanks can kind of get aggressive and get an advantage. Okay, so now Mawis goes with two tanks. Uh, Although they are split, so it's tank on the one base side and then actually a pretty far back tank on the two base side. Um, I would probably like to see the tank here from the forward base, just because it's usually more important for your tanks to reach the front faster than like a single infantry. So I think I would have liked to see the tank in the forward position there. So with the movement over here, Mawis gets to see recon and three infantry, so he kind of like knows where everything is. So this recon is scouted everything while not being scouted. Like he even knows what's in this forest, which is a pretty nice bonus. So Lost and Found goes tank, anti-air. Um, no, there's like the one thing that Mawis doesn't see is Mawis doesn't get to see this tile above the forest or the tile above this forest, which tells you a turn before if there's a vehicle coming. So Mawis doesn't know anything about the vehicles that aren't recons. Mawis doesn't get to know yet that there's three tanks and an anti-air all on Lost and Found's two base front and nothing on his one base front. So he still needs to pick up on that. Okay, so Mawis, let's see, looking like he's going pretty far forward, not trying to conceal the double transport, which maybe you should try to conceal. This T-copter happens to not be scouted yet, but there could easily be something in this forest. So Mawis kind of showing his hand, but it's not being seen at this point. We'll see what Lost and Found can pick up. I guess Lost and Found does get to see there was a recon in this forest that moved out. So Lost and Found gets to know that. So it goes for the infantry kill here. Happens to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, Lost and Found knows for sure that a tank can't be this close unless it was a super early tank. So he goes for like a slight risk that Mawis has had a tank on this base for a few turns. But Mawis doesn't happen to have a tank in position. This is kind of like really efficient in some sense. Like Lost and Found is just out of range of a 2-day reinforcement with the tank. Instead, it's actually 1, 2, 3 days to get there. So I would say this is like a really nice decision to attack, especially since he has two tanks backing this up. Or I guess he has one tank backing it up, and this tank is just a day late or a tile late. Okay, so now Lost and Found gets a little tricky with his builds here. So three forward tanks on the two base side, and then backing it up is coming recon artillery anti-air, and then a mech here on the one base side, which seems kind of risky. There's no transport to get it anywhere. I mean, it's just pretty passive. And I guess it makes sense because you're banking on winning big on your two base side. So as long as you have a mech that can like sort of sit in a forest and counter hit, you'll be fine. So interesting move. Um, we'll see what the mech can do for him. Okay. All right. Okay, so the T-copter goes really deep. Looking for like full vision on everything, I guess. Um, man, you don't see that too often. Like it's kind of losing an infantry for free, but it's getting scouting information, and it does give good information. It shows he knew about this tank and he sees this tank. So, so Mawas does pro maybe have like an inkling now that like with these two tanks really far forward, that's like two really early builds for Blue Moon on the two base sides. So that means that he probably knows that there's like no early vehicle over here apart from this one recon he knows about. And actually, I see. So this back tank actually goes up and it's gonna reinforce on the one base side. Interesting. So yeah, Maoist actually is gonna meet this aggression on the two base side with an equal number of tanks. It's gonna turn out to be. Um, so yeah, that can definitely be a surprise if you're expecting to kind of roll over with just pumping vehicles out of your two base side. Um, so yeah, well, I guess we're gonna see if Lost and Found decides to get aggressive and get punished for it. Okay, so Lost and Found definitely getting aggressive and actually scouts this tank actually a little bit too late, but killing like a lot of infantry, although I guess it's leaving two infantry at 1 HP, which ideally you don't really want, but I guess it's not the worst thing in the world. And then Lost and Found going medium tank here, which I don't know, seems kind of early, but people like medium tanks these days, so whatever, more power to you. So Mawas gets two big tank first strikes onto tanks and streams a lot more tanks in. One thing Lost and Found doesn't know about this tank yet, I don't think. Unless he moved. Oh no, he moved the tank in to kill the infantry. Okay, so Lost and Found sees there's like three full HP tanks, and he's in trouble. So Lost and Found trying to kind of figure out what to do. If I had this information, I would probably just like retreat hard and then like put an artillery in one of the woods and just kind of like wait it out. If you're seeing this many tanks, maybe you should know that there's like some reinforcement happening from the bottom to the top, which is a very long and windy reinforcement path. Um, so if you can just like wait for some more faster tanks from your two base side, you might be able to do fine here. And then the other thing too is like seeing a lot of tanks here maybe means you can get just a little more aggressive here. Like if Lost and Found had one tank here, that'd be one thing, but since he has no tanks, it's kind of hard to justify aggressive captures right now, even though it turns out that they're safe for the most part. Okay, so regardless, Lost and Found goes for these two aggressive caps. Um, well, I guess unfortunately they're actually gonna both be interrupted, so see how it goes for him. Okay, so Ma was going pretty deep with these three tanks. Um, just feels like Lost and Found doesn't have anything right now. It's just like where are all of his tanks? So I guess he has to. He really can't retreat further back than this, and he's also taken some bad losses. Um, so I think he kind of has to stand and fight, and then bring his medium tank into range, and push back here. So I guess remarkably, Lost and Found has an anti-air, but there's no B-copters, and Mawis has an anti-air, and there's no B-copters as well. So yeah, Lost and Found really kind of in trouble right now. Oops. Taking out this recon is going to be really nice, though. So Mawis, I think wisely backs off. Did he see the medium tank? No, it doesn't look like he saw the medium tank unless. Uh, yeah, so no medium tank spotted, but I mean, probably just had the presence of mind to know like this is really close to my opponent's base, to his two base. So like I can't really push so far, or else I might get hit pretty hard for that. So yeah, hitting the recon is pretty huge. And actually killing this infantry is really nice as well. Because now there's really not much else left over here. I mean, this recon does look like it's going to get smacked by the tank, potentially. Yeah, not quite in range of Super CO power by the mech. Oh, I see. This tank actually is in range. Okay, so just really quickly here, we can take a look at the stats. Looks pretty even. Lost and Found is down a city. Um, Unit value wise, they're about even. Unit count wise, everything's fine. Oh, Lost and Found missed something here. Oh, I see. He decides not to dive with his tank on tank, presumably. Um, Although with CO power, he could have done a lot of damage potentially. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, at this point, like, there's a big enough army here that, like, Lost and Found is worried about medium tanks or artillery, so it's hard to commit a medium tank into this fight just kind of haphazardly. Okay, so here comes Mao's superpower. Getting first Super CO power in a matchup like this can be pretty huge. We'll see what Maois can do with it. Oh, and with that, he spots everything, including the medium tank he can smack, so not a good start so far. Actually goes not for the medium tank, but for the artillery instead. I think I would have liked to see this tank hit the artillery, and then this medium tank hit the tank from road. The medium tank hitting the medium tank from road. Hmm. It just feels like you're doing more damage that way. So Lost and Found is going to have a pretty huge super to respond to this. Although he doesn't really have very much vision, which is kind of an issue. Okay, so you pretty much have to pop super right now. Okay, maybe you're crazy. Never mind. Also, like, not hitting from the city first seems not what you want. I don't know, it just seems sketchy to me. It just kind of breaks some rules that I have about how to fight with how to break some meter management rules is how I would say that. So I guess the issue with that, with just to inform you guys how I think about meter management is like if you're attacking into somebody's super CO power, like sure they have extra defense, but also it's the case that like you're not charging their meter when you're attacking, and so you're when you wait until they have less defense but meter to charge, you're gonna do like monster damage with your super CO power, but the issue is that they're gonna get monster charge for that. So then their next super is gonna come really fast compared to yours. So we can keep an eye on that and see if that happens here. And the other thing too is attacking with the medium tank from the city, from the city second, as opposed to the plains first. Sorry, as opposed to the city first. I feel like the medium tank should have hit from the city first to get less recoil damage. That's what I'm trying to say. But I mean, I agree that Lost and Found kind of needs to fight here because his HQ is right in the way, and like this is pushed pretty deep into his territory. If he can just like get some shots off, he'll be in good shape. Oh, this infantry surviving is pretty huge. Now this mech kind of continues to go unnoticed, and it can get a great shot off with super. So Okay, so this has to be the super turn, right? Well, you scout first, of course, yeah, but yeah, and here comes the super. Okay. Okay, killing the artillery from the back like that is a really sneaky move. Like Mawis kind of thinks that he's safe on this back area, but secretly Lost and Found has a tank that can sneak all the way back here and one-shot the artillery, which turns out to be Mawis's only artillery. So that means that his two medium tanks are free to make huge progress. So, and now he sees that there's no artillery in this region at all. So now both medium tanks or medium tanks. So now both medium tanks can go in, you know, as much as they want to. So yeah, nice trap here too, keeping the tank kind of confined. And luckily for Lost and Found, having enough tanks on the backside to like clean up these two units. So not the cleanest Super CO power in terms of like the engagement's still going to continue, but getting back in the game, it definitely gets him back in the game. Oh, does he just lose the HQ cap right now? Oh, I see. Maoist used CO power. Yeah, that's the thing is you can like make a great Super CO power turn and then just like get ganged up on with like an immediate counter super or counter CO power, like we're seeing here. Yeah, and this is the problem with allowing your HQ to be capped is like not only could you lose the game, which is bad, but if you don't lose the game, then it forces an action to keep you from losing the game. So this tank that would love to like just crash down on one of these tanks now has to divert in order to keep you from losing immediately, which is really painful. Okay, so it looks like Lost and Found's gonna pretty much lose immediately now because Mawis is gonna get shots on his heavy tanks, which is all he has left. So this looks like the end of the game, unfortunately, for our brave hero who sent me the replay. I see. So Lost and Found actually has the next super and has the medium tank in range to get a first strike, hopefully, on one of these two guys. And has a Neo tank saved up and it's close to his bases. So maybe it's not completely over yet. Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, Maoist will get a really great attacking turn here if he feels. I guess it's. He doesn't have that many tanks left, actually. Wait a minute. Did Lost and Found win this game? He's down on unit count, too. Not by a ton, but by enough. The issue is Lost and Found is like really suffering in both income and value. So he has to like trade extremely positively, which he can't do this turn. Oh, okay. So unfortunately, nothing's in range, and he just popped his super. I see. Unless he's going for... Okay, so he's going for super CO power cap cheese. So at this point, he should just delete the rest of his units. Was that the delete? No, okay. Yeah. I mean, if you're going for a all in this all in, I think you need to delete the rest of your units so that Maoist can't get charged from stacking into the Neo tank, for instance. Or stacking into that tank. Okay, here comes... Okay, so it's just the power, not the super CO power. Let's see if we can get it. I mean, he has an anti-air. He has he has 3 anti-air. See if that kills. Doesn't kill, but the infantry will kill it. Come on, Lost and Found. Oh, and then the recon will interrupt. Oh, no. Oh, it didn't hit. What? What? Wait a minute. Does that not reach? Oh, it doesn't reach. Oh my gosh. No way. Lost and Found, you madman. What a turn of events. Oh my gosh. Lost and Found, pulling it out. All right, so that was awesome. Yeah, you do have to delete your units though. Otherwise, what can happen is this. Okay, so Mawis sees that. How do you get vision? Actually, there's like not a way that Mawis can get vision of this Neo tank. Oh no, the B copter. 1, 2, 3. T copter with... Okay, I see. So, but I think he needed that infantry. Um, yeah, actually, because I mean, it looked like at the end of it, so at the end of it, Mawitz was like just short. If the medium tank would have hit the Neo tank from the city, it would have been over. Uh, because the super would have hit, and then the recon would have had 1 extra movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10 movement to hit from the top. Yeah, that was a really close one. But yeah, I'm definitely a favor of deleting units because if Maoist could have gotten vision of your Neo tank, which doesn't, he almost could. Like if he had an infantry that wasn't this one, because this one's important, it needs to kill off a mech or an infantry. If this infantry were free, you could stick in the T copter, go up to the mountain, get vision of everything, see the Neo tank, medium tank sack, and now he has super, and then that's more movement with it for him to work with. So almost suboptimal. I would say suboptimal by not deleting all these units. Because otherwise, I mean, I think you kind of knew you were losing pretty hard at that point. Or if not deleting, then at least like moving everything way back. You have to do at least that, I think. But yeah, really cool finish. Thanks for thanks for submitting this one, Lost and Found. He's been playing a lot of games recently, so he's been sending me some wild replays, and I didn't know this one was gonna have a funky finish. So yeah, that was really entertaining. Okay, Thanks for tuning in for the 1200s. 1300s will be up next.